I'm seeing all these reviews where people are saying, oh my gosh, they're breaking the lore here. They're breaking the lore here. I can't believe this is Gandalf in the show. Dude, if you're watching The Rings of Power expecting it to be Tolkien accurate at this point, we just finished the finale of season 1. If you're still expecting it to be lore accurate to Tolkien, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. This show does not respect Tolkien. Hands down. As a Tolkien adaptation, it is horrible. As a show, it's not that great either. Okay, I'm going to be honest. But this episode, this finale, in my opinion, is the best episode of the show so far. The episode started off with the wizard. We had those Morgoth sympathizing priests come and find him. They're servants of Sauron. They thought the wizard was Sauron, right? Turns out the wizard was Gandalf. I don't know how they made that mistake because they were sensing his power, right? From the meteor and all that stuff, and they could sense where he was. So maybe they're just sensing magic. But, I mean, I feel like that's a pretty big mistake, right? So, this guy, Gandalf, was fighting the Sauron followers. The fight was pretty cool. Like, the effects were pretty cool. Sadok, one of the Harfoots, was a casualty in the fight, so he didn't make it. But that fight between those priests and the wizard... It was pretty cool, man. Those priests have no mercy. They're literally burning up everything, and I mean, like if they believe this guy is Sauron, and they're here to find him, rehabilitate him, bring his memory back, and then worship him, praise him, follow him. They were pretty rough with him. They were literally swinging him back and forth, knocking him against walls. They were going all out with this guy. So I'm like, whoa. And they try to deceive him. Why did they pretend to be Nori Brandyfoot? And then turn back into their original form. Like, why are you trying to deceive your master? Just be outright and okay, whatever. So the meat of the episode was really with Galadriel and Halbrand. So the whole storyline with that is they're trying to forge the rings now. And by the end of the episode, they do. They forge the 3 rings for the Elven Kings. At first, the High King wasn't 100% on this whole idea, man. He was like, we have no time. We need to get to Valinor. We're all about to die. So at this point, Elrond needed to convince him. And he gave this line that I really liked. It sounded Tolkien-esque in my opinion. He said, hope is never mere, even when it is meager. And the way that flows gave me Tolkien vibes, and so I really liked it. So he ended up convincing the High King, and Celebrimbor and them went straight ahead to work. It kind of didn't make any sense how they went about it, right? Celebrimbor was like, the whole plan was like, let's try and make this little Mithril save everybody, right? Because they can't encase everybody in Mithril. They only have this much. So Halbrand, you can see Halbrand start to influence Celebrimbor. Celebrimbor even repeats word for word a line that Sauron says that Adar had repeated, right? Power over flesh, something like that. That got Galadriel like, whoa, where'd you hear that? The only person you could have heard that from is Halbrand. So she starts to suspect. She gets some guy, the librarian, to look into the kings of the Southland, the genealogies, and finds out that line was ended. It was broken. So Halbrand is not who he said he is. So she confronts Halbrand, and Halbrand's like, "Whoa, I never told you that I was of the broken line of the Southlands. I told you I found this thing, the crest of the kings of the Southlands. I found that thing." And then Galadriel's like, whoa, wait, but you came to Middle Earth, you took the position, all that stuff, and he's like, yeah, I mean, I didn't want to. I wanted to stay in Numenor. You wanted me to come. You made me. So he's putting it on her, and it honestly is on her. So he's trying to manipulate, get her to second guess herself, doubt herself. We get a cool scene of Halbrand. Now we know it's Sauron, right? Trying to get into her head, trying to manipulate her. He puts her in this dream state, talking to her older brother. Kind of like he pulled a Madara Uchiha from Naruto move on her. And she doesn't fall for it, right? She sees right through it. And so it jumps to the raft in the water, right when Halbrand and her meet. And he's pretty much trying to seduce her, saying, you and I, we can join forces. He's pulling an Anakin. You and I can rule the galaxy, right? And she doesn't fall for that either. So the scene was cool. We get a shot with her falling into the water, drowning. Like that whole sequence of them going back and forth was cool. It was cool to see. I'm not gonna lie. She snaps back to reality, like that one Morgoth priest would say, feminem, and quickly she tries to tell Elrond what's going on. They head over to Celebrimbor, and we're thinking like, okay, man, Galadriel's gonna want to stop this whole ordeal, and she's like, we can't just make 1 or 2. We got to make 3. Because if you have 1, that's absolute power, right? If you have 2, that'll divide. 3 is balance, okay? That's what Celebrimbor said. So that's how they came up with the idea to make the 3 rings for the Elven Kings under the sky. So they do. They forged the rings. But Celebrimbor said he needed the finest gold and the finest silver, pure gold and pure silver, right? The purest, in order to bond with the Mithril. And that gold and silver needed to come from where else but Valinor. That's where they got the purest. So Galadriel had to sacrifice her dagger. Let go of the past to embrace the future. Let go of the past. Let go of something in the past to make change, right? To create something new. So they smelt her dagger and somehow distill pure gold and pure silver from it. The hilt apparently looks silver and gold, but here's what I'm thinking. Like, if you have pure gold is a soft metal. How are you going to put that in a hilt? For a weapon? With pure gold, you can dent it with your nails. Like, you know what I mean? That's not, you don't want pure gold on a hilt, okay? But anyways, let's go with it. It's fantasy. So they melt down the silver and gold, and then they create 2 golden rings and 1 silver ring. You just melted all the metals together. How are you going to create 2 separate gold rings and 1 silver ring? Okay, whatever, we'll go with it. So they create the rings, right? So, I mean, it was cool to see the creation of the rings. So by the end of the episodes, we head back to the Harfoots, and the wizard is speaking full sentences now. So that's cool. So him and Nori Brandyfoot are talking, and Nori Brandyfoot decides to go off with the wizard, a.k.a. Gandalf. I feel weird calling him Gandalf. He even says the line, "When in doubt, Nori Brandyfoot, always follow your nose." So, I mean, at that point, if there was any doubt, I mean, he's 100% Gandalf, right? She has to say goodbye to her family, and that was heartwarming. See, I like the Harfoots, okay? I like the Harfoots because they remind me of Willow. So that goodbye was heartfelt. I really liked it. Nori saying goodbye to her family, and then her best friend comes running and hugs her and says goodbye. Like, she says, you know, everybody that I love always leaves and all that stuff. It reminded me of, to be honest, her saying bye to her family and then walking away, not wanting to turn back. It reminded me of Anakin leaving his mom in The Phantom Menace. So her and Gandalf end up wandering off together. They had a song at the end. They were really, that gave me like the Gollum song vibes, or like, you know like how the Peter Jackson end credits. It was trying to go for that vibe, but didn't reach it. But it was cool to see the ring verses as a song. And that was the end of the episode. So compared to the other episodes, I thought this episode was good. I was actually engaged throughout the entire episode. Let me know what you guys thought about down below in the comment section. And if you guys watch House of the Dragon, I'll see you guys in the next House of the Dragon episode. Take care. Bye-bye.